Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hi everyone, I'm Rukhshana Hassan from Iman Schools in Sri Lanka. I'm really glad to be with you all today, simply because I want to share with you the kind of program that we put together in order to face this pandemic and to make sure that education does not stop. So, one of the main criteria here that made this a successful venture for us is the fact that we spent a lot of time and care and concern in making sure that the design of the program is something that carried immediate access to the students, empathy, care, creativity, and of course innovation. So these elements that came together basically made sure that this particular program, no matter where these children were and what kind of emotional state that these families were in, we wanted to make sure that we could reach them and grant them access to something that will keep them occupied, keep them moving, and keep them hopeful during a crisis that was really and still is affecting us in many different ways. So to begin with, the school, using in-house resources, put together a story and illustrations coming to give a message out to especially young children who need some sort of mechanism to be able to feel as if they belong, they're safe, and they're good to go. So Knock Knock, The Virus Down was a book that was put together using in-house resources, a student, a teacher, and a couple of teachers who came together. And this book, this e-resource was sent across to all children to kind of console them and give them something to hold on to. Children really did hear the voices of their teachers and gain a lot of confidence in moving forward with the sort of message this particular book gave them. You would really like to have a look at that, hopefully. Additionally, once this message went across, to make sure that there is immediate access to an education that is virtually and age appropriately prepared for them, we needed a platform. Now, the school, about 3.5 years ago, had already introduced the program, an app, which is a mobile app, could also be accessed on your PC. It's called Seesaw. The Seesaw app is a digital platform that students have already been exposed to in order to access blended learning. Blended learning was nothing new to these students. So the digital platform definitely unlocks creative thinking and for all students in all sorts of subjects, which means that integration of subjects was something that can be capitalized on. Secondly, they get to gain insights of where exactly the student is and meet them at that level. So we were also able to make certain programs that could obviously accommodate their learning styles and pace. Then also this platform was really effective in engaging families, making sure families got to know what exactly they needed to do to support this, because obviously virtual schooling has huge elements of support required from the parent themselves. So additionally, give students a space to own what they were doing and take control of it, and not just be someone who's sitting there and receiving things. We needed them to be engaged. We needed them to obviously love what they were doing, embrace it, to say, and get inspiration. So this app was just perfect for us to keep moving. And that was what was used. Now, in the design of the program, one humongous challenge we had was that out of the students we had, more than 60% of the students were siblings. In other words, they had at least one siblings in a grade. and a maximum of about 3 to 4 students, 3 to 4 children in the same families, which meant that device access was a huge concern. So the school first made sure that we got information about device availability, and then designed the program in such a way that if they had young siblings, we would have separate timings, and throughout the day we spaced it out so that the device at one point could be used for a particular age and then moved on to the rest of them. So this was huge for most of the families, simply because we needed to empathize with their situation during a crisis especially, and not bombard them with something that we just wanted happening. We wanted to make sure that they're comfortable, easy to, they can access and problem solve in a way that would be comfortable to these children to learn. Well, secondly, one of the other aspects that scored or was very more effective was the fact that the schedules were designed to make sure there was minimization of screen time and maximization of their engagement. How we did this is by making sure that the scheduling had an online session and followed by an offline session, so that the teachers as well as the students had a break from that screen, break to reflect, think and move on to the next lesson, and so on and so forth. So this had huge impact simply because we were able to make sure that we could implement something called TOP, Teacher Online Presence. In case the student required some extra attention, in case there was something that they need to interact about, there was always this someone waiting for them to be able to give that helping hand. And this is important, obviously, to make sure that the distance is reduced as much as possible. Now, continuity of education also meant that whatever that we put up there in the calendar, school calendar, kept happening. So this happened around April, May, and we usually at Iman Schools have a very special Ramadan program made for them. This time, we made sure that we brought in this crisis element in, and all the program design was also to accommodate the fact that we still keep going on with what was on the calendar, but we make sure that appropriately it was designed to suit the crisis timing that we were all facing, especially the students. The virtual school protocols were sent out. Children were made sure they knew what we expected as facilitators, and then when they were ready, we got better results from them because communication was pretty clear in order to make sure this is also successful. Now, one of the things that made this program happen in almost overnight is a kind of collaboration that the educators committed towards. Now, Google platform is something that the school always welcomed, but the fact that we wanted to give confidence to the parent body remained something that we needed to make effort towards. So, in-house we had our guru, so-called, in terms of making sure the Google platform has been introduced to teachers and making sure that they could troubleshoot, problem solve and tailor-make according to their classroom, their bunch of students. And overnight, in about 30 to 60 days, we had a number of teachers committed to making sure they also acquired the certification. The Google Educator Certification Level 1, Level 2 and Trainer Certification, so that obviously the parent body had that backing from the teachers in making sure we do something that we're really, really confident of. And then moving on, one of the criteria that we made sure is there in the program is that how do we ensure student engagement, student attendance and engagement? Now, to do this, we had to make sure we have a progress indicator along with a reward system. Obviously, rewards do work, and that design is something that also was successful in this program, since students were earning points as they attended sessions, as they uploaded their tasks for the day, especially the offline tasks which they had to independently do, where self-directed learning was something that learning skills that were taught to them were basically being maximized. So we had every week impressive Imanians being rewarded, or impressive Imanians being selected and given a reward because of their efforts. And this kind of motivated them to somehow make sure the tick goes on in terms of the week's targets. And this was really successful. So what I'm really confident about is that the design definitely caters to a wide range of schools and different sort of students, because we are definitely ensuring that platform is effective, platform is interactive, platform ensures maximization of communication. Secondly, that it can cater towards every single child, no matter what their learning style is or what their pace is. Thirdly, that device access and the ability to maximize this program has also been looked into. And all this was not possible if the school's philosophy of empathy, care, creativity and innovation all came together in order to make sure that we are all in this together, and we all can definitely working together, sharing one's grief and sorrows and challenges, could gain that support to not let education stagnate, not let student learning be something that comes to an abrupt end. It can still have elements of creativity, innovation, engagement, still have something to look forward to, which is one of the main things that we all as humans need during a crisis. So feel free to have a look at some of our really engaging videos that gives you the insight to how the entire program came to be something that the community is appreciative of, and may be accepted by Allah. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.